Oh hey, welcome back here to Old Time Garage. We're in January. Here's my little 52 Chev, and unfortunately this is where I have to work. January, I think it's the 5th or 6th, it doesn't matter. It's cold, it's dark out. It's after hours now, it's 4:30 here, and this is how I get to work on my stuff, is outside at night. So don't any of you guys out there tell me I'm not a diehard or I'm afraid to work. Anyway, we're going to have shop class here 101 today, if that's the right word to say. For any of you novice guys out there, we're going to show you how to change a broken wheel stud. So the first thing you do is we've got a broken wheel stud here. The first thing you do is you go in your toolbox and you get the biggest hammer you can get. Yeah, look at that hammer, eh? It's just because I'm too lazy to go back inside and get a big one because they're all inside the cars. But anyway, we've got a broken wheel stud here. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to get a hammer and a good center punch. Now I've already knocked this loose a bit, so you get a good center punch or a good hammer and you just knock it out just like that. Wheel stud gone, broke, there you go. Now you go to your parts store and you get new wheel studs. You tell them the application because they are different lengths and different styles. And as you can see carefully here, they got little serrated teeth is what I'm going to call it. Whether I'm using the right word or not, who cares? You know what I mean? There's little teeth in there. So you flip it over upside down, your hub. You put your wheel stud in there, and what those teeth do is they grab. So you kind of put it in there. What I usually do is I give it a couple. Now everyone has different ways of doing it. Okay, so I could be right, could be wrong, but this is how I do it. I give it a couple little taps, just to kind of hold it in place, because the thing is it's not going to tap all the way down. It would if you keep banging and banging, but that isn't proper. Give it a couple taps there, flip it over, it's good, but as you can see, it's not all the way through. Now I grabbed a nut here. You usually get a nut, and you back it up with a nut like, oh shit, here we go. See, I didn't tap it enough. It pays to get the proper hammer. Anyway, let's get her. Okay, there we go. So normally you'd grab a nut, or a couple washers, whatever you want to do. This nut is way too big. The stud is not sticking through, but we got a washer here. We'll put a flat washer on it. I'll take my lug nut. Now normally your lug nut would go on the wheel with the tapered end facing in. I'm going to spin this sucker around because it's flat here. We don't want the tapered end on there. I'm going to spin it around just like that. Put that on there like that. Hopefully it got a good impact. Make sure you're going forward. See, I was in reverse. My whole life is in reverse. There we go. And take a look on the back side. She's still, you can't really see, it's dark out because that's how I get to work, is in the dark. Now sometimes you may have to put more washers, or like I say, a big nut than this nut, but I think we've got it here. We'll check it out. We've already replaced one, and yes, it is sitting flush. There we go. We'll back this off. We'll take our washer off. And if you're really paranoid, you want to make sure it's all good, just run a straight edge over here and make sure it's even. There you go, guys. Shop Class 101. You got your new wheel stud in there. It ain't going nowhere. It's safe. It's sturdy. Away you go. That's it. Okay, let's go check out what's going on in the shop, and we'll be right back. Here we are. We're back in the shop now. If you remember on a couple videos, I was showing you this little 57 GMC. It's a customer. He brought it out. He's an old-time customer. I've done a lot of work for him. And anyway, he brought this truck out to me, and the basic reason he brought it out was he had a problem with the charging system. The battery would go dead after a couple days, so we checked that out. We found out what was going on there. We fixed it up, and that was it. Then he got talking to me about stuff like this. I don't know if you can see that, but the fender bracing behind broke away. The truck has got some primered areas on it. Around 6-7 years ago, I welded in cab corners and just shot it in primer. And like we all know, you shouldn't get primer wetter and moisture, but 6-7 years ago, it's starting to get a bit of surface rust because it's been sitting around. You know, you really shouldn't leave primer that long. So his plan was he was gonna sell the truck. He was thinking about it, and he phoned me up a couple days ago and he said, "Rick, why don't you give me a number on repainting this thing?" He says, "I don't want like a top of the line job." He says, "I just want to fix the areas where you've done, because I never really got carried away in doing a lot of body work here. I mainly just did the welding, and I gave it a light coated glaze, and I sanded it, primered it. That was it, because at that time he didn't have the money to go any further. So he wants us to paint it now. He said because the paint on this truck is 20 years old, it's still holding up really well. And he doesn't drive this truck like in the salt or the snow, but he does drive it every day. He takes it out in the rain, and he takes it to the lumber yard and hauls lumber and hauls gravel and all sorts of shit with it. So this truck here, what we're going to do, as you can see, we've got the doors off. The door is right over there. You know, I've done a little bit of welding. I don't know if you can see it from back there, but you don't have to see it up close. But you know, there are some mirrors here that stuck out. There were some mirrors on here. He wants to fill them holes in. He wants to put the peep mirrors off here, stuff like that. You can see the truck has already got body filler in it, which is typical on older vehicles. So what we're going to do is we're going to strip down and fix any rust we see. We're going to cut it out and weld some quick patches in there. We're going to fix this brace on the bumper. Then basically all we're going to do, because the truck is already fairly straight, we're not going to block this truck. This guy doesn't want to spend that kind of money. We're just going to sand it, machine sand it, get it fairly level with the machine. And as all you guys know out there that have shops to do this, the absolute proper way and pristine way and get it perfectly straight is to block it by hand. But he doesn't want to get that carried away. It's silver. Silver hides a lot. The truck is fairly straight. Like if I actually do look down it, it's pretty decent. It's a pretty decent truck. So excuse me. We're going to give her a clean up, give her a paint job, so you guys